Sometimes when you go hiking, you get this. Other times when you go hiking, you get this.
You want me to take a picture on the toilet?
No.
What?
Documenting the fact that we're hanging out in the privy.
Hello friends, how are you? I'm Susan with SusanAnyway.com, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about camping. We love to camp. As someone who loves all things thrifty and budget-friendly, camping is certainly one of the most budget-friendly ways to travel. And it's also a great way to get out and explore and see nature. I just love it. I grew up camping and I still really enjoy it. However, I found out on our latest camping trip that I do not like backpacking. I think I'm just, I don't know, a softie. I'm a car camper. My brother said I'm a glamper. I'm not real tough. But we did overnight on the Appalachian Trail, which was cool. I'm glad that we did it. It's been 30 years since I've backpacked, done like a multi-day trip out in the wilderness. So that was fun. I don't need to do it again anytime soon, but my husband loves it. I'm sure he'll do it more, but me, not so much. Anyway, while we were out there, I just thought of a few things that I would tell you if you're new to camping, or even if you've been camping a while. It might be just another take on things that are really helpful to know about camping and things to have when camping or hiking. The first thing that I want to talk about is called a BAL, B-A-L Leveler, and I got information about this from the Pop-Up Princess, and I will link to her blog in the video description because it's just such a great resource. We have a pop-up camper, which means it's also called a tent trailer or a travel trailer. It looks like this, and then you crank it up and the roof goes up, and it has two little bump out slides that make into beds, and it's nice because most cars can pull it. It's not super heavy. It's just a nice kind of entry level. It's not tent camping, but it's not like a big fancy RV either. To me, it's like a happy medium. You feel like you're actually camping because you can unzip all the windows and have the breeze come through, and yet you have air conditioning and you have lights, and you can plug in an Instant Pot to cook while you're away from the campground and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of the pop-up camper. So anyway, the BAL Leveler is this little device that you put under one of your tires, and when you have backed your pop-up camper into your camping site, you put the little BAL Leveler under one of the tires, and then you raise it to level your camper, which makes a big difference when you are sleeping. You're not on a slope. You're not gonna go this way and you're not gonna go this way. To me, this leveler is just the easiest way to get it just smack dab level. And we actually have little spirit levels on our camper for front to back leveling and side to side leveling, so we can get it pretty much true to level front and back and side to side, which just makes it a little bit more comfortable to sleep in. The other thing I wanted to talk about is when you are camping, a lot of times, like for us, we love to go hiking when we're camping, and so we'll stay at a campground and then go either walk out straight from the campground, or we'll drive to a trailhead and hike. And a lot of times we'll do big hikes. We love to get out there and do, I don't know, for us a big hike would be like 10 to 12 miles in a day. Of course, our kids are all kind of grown up. They're all teenagers and above, but with little ones, you might not want to do, I mean, you probably definitely wouldn't want to do a 10-mile hike, but when you hike for any length of time, you will find that your feet get tired. And one of the nicest things when you get back to the campsite is to have some camp shoes. You could use slides, you could use those little plastic, they kind of look like Birkenstock sandals, but they're all plastic. You could use Crocs. I personally don't like to use like a flip-flop because I want to be able to have on socks because my feet get cold. So I like a slide. And also if you're going to use the shower at your campground, if your campground has showers, you don't want to be standing in a public shower in your bare feet. You definitely want to have some kind of shoes on. So these camp shoes are nice just because they're a different pair of shoe from what you've been wearing all day if you've been hiking, and they're also nice because they will keep you a little bit more sanitary if you're taking a shower in the public campground bathroom. The third thing I wanted to talk about was when we hike, we like to wear the name brand is Camelback, but we don't buy the name brand Camelback water backpacks, but you can get on Amazon a similar product, and they're not expensive at all, and I'll link to the ones that we have, but we used those when we went out west, and we also used them on this camping trip. You can get a water bladder to fit in your own backpack if you already have a backpack that you like to wear when you're hiking, or you can get an actual backpack that holds the little water bladder that's on the back of your back, and it has a little tube that comes over your shoulder, and then instead of having to carry a water bottle or being loaded down with water bottles, the weight is a little bit better distributed, and it's just an easier thing to wear, and it actually keeps the water pretty cold. I think it keeps it colder than if you had just a water bottle. So I really like those a lot. I love having that valve just right here. You don't have to stop and unscrew anything. You can keep walking and just take the little lid off and drink some and then put the lid back on. So those things are great. I definitely would recommend having those. Another thing that you might want to have is a camping hammock. You have to be careful. Not every park, not every campground will let you hang hammocks, but it seems like here on our side, on the East Coast, I have not seen anybody that doesn't want you to hang a hammock. When we were out like in Zion National Park and out west, I think just because of the number of people they get through there, and maybe the limited amount of trees, they didn't want you hanging hammocks. But a hammock, if your campground will let you use a hammock, it's just another relaxing place to lay down. Some people like to sleep in them overnight. That's not super comfortable to me, but it is a great fun place to rest, which is not a chair, but you're kind of laying down. So camping hammock, and they're also super lightweight and they pack down really small. So those are fun to have. The other thing that I was gonna mention, if you are going into a campground, when we went into this campground this past week, we were coming in kind of late. It had been a long day, and I didn't make supper ahead of time, and I really wish I had. So I would recommend on that first night, either go ahead and pack a supper that you, like a cold supper that you can just get out and eat, or stop and just grab some supper on your way into the campground, because if you are hungry and you're trying to set up a camper and set up a campsite, it's not a good combination. You want everybody to be fed and happy, and that way the only thing you have to deal with is getting your camper set up. and not having to worry about, like I did, getting the camper set up and also figuring out the food and finding it and fixing it and trying to make a hot meal. It's just too much. Even like we got there at like 7:30, which wasn't super late, but I don't think we ate until 9 just because it took a while for us to get settled. And it had been, gosh, it's been 2 years since we've all camped together. We didn't camp together at all last year. It's nice. If you wanted something hot, you could always do like s'mores later on. But I would not suggest banking on making supper at the campground the first night you get there. It's just a little stressful. Okay, one more thing that I would recommend you get, if you don't have them already, is walkie-talkies. My brother-in-law said, y'all should use walkie-talkies, and he was right. They make walkie-talkies in all sorts of ranges. When you're looking at walkie-talkies, check out how many miles distance that the range is for your walkie-talkie. But if you have a family where everybody kind of hikes at a different pace, and maybe you get where you can't see everybody, it's really nice to everybody. Make sure when you start on your hike, make sure that your walkie-talkie is turned on and everyone's turned on to the same channel. But it's really nice to have walkie-talkies. The kids would like them, and it's just another layer of safety if somehow somebody got separated from the rest of the group. It's just nice to have walkie-talkies for probably each person. The other thing, talking about that, we've had a couple of times where our family has gotten separated on a trail, and just a good piece of trail wisdom to impart to your family is whenever you get to a place where the trail diverges, even if it seems obvious to you that you should go left, anytime you get to a place where there is an intersection, stop and make sure the whole group is together and that everybody's going the same way. Because there was a time when we were all camping together, and the kids were older, they were like high school and college, but we got separated, and even though I knew everybody was okay, it was still really stressful and scary. And the way seemed really obvious to my husband, but it didn't seem really obvious to me, and so it just became a stressful situation when it should have been a happy and fun situation. So the other thing I wanted to mention that I don't think a lot of people know is if you are on like a sloped trail, the people going up have the right of way. So if you're on a trail that most trails are only, you can only have single file, like one person at a time. So if you're going down and you see a bunch of people coming up, you need to get off the trail and let those people go up. A lot of times people don't know that, and when you're going up, you're working a little bit harder, so it's nice for the going down people to step off the trail and let those going up people go. And if somebody has on a really heavy pack, then you especially want to get out of their way and let them go by if you're just carrying like a day pack. You just have to be flexible and kind of roll with it. Things are gonna get dirty, it's not gonna be like perfect, but camping makes some of the greatest memories, and it's really worth the effort. Every time we go camping, I'm like, oh wow, this is so much work. Why do we do this? And then we come back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why we do it, because it's just so much fun. Because often there's not cell phone service, so your kids can't scatter. They're gonna hang out with you. I don't know. I just love that campground atmosphere. You can't beat it. We went to Grayson Highlands, which is a state park in Virginia, and we used to live about an hour from there, and so we're familiar with that campground and with that state park, and we really love it up there. And the Appalachian Trail runs through it, or close to it. It's easy to get to the Appalachian Trail from there. And they also have wild ponies, which is so fun. So you can see ponies, and when we were there here in May, There were baby ponies, like little foals, and that was fun too, just to see the little ones. So Grayson Highlands is a great place to camp. And if you have a camper, they do have electrical and water hookups at many of the sites. So definitely when you're booking your reservation, look to see if you can get water and electrical, because it does just make your life a little bit easier. So I hope that helps. Hey y'all, I'm going to interrupt myself because I forgot to mention something that I think is really helpful, and I wish I had had it on this trip, but that is to get headlamps for everyone, kids and adults alike. If you are wearing a flashlight on your head, it is really helpful, especially if you're setting up in the dark or if you have to walk to the bathroom in the night. It adds a layer of comfort for children or for anyone who doesn't like the dark, and it just makes your life easier. Let me know if you have any other tips or if you have any questions, and like I said, I'll link to everything that I'm recommending in my video description. What if I did this?
Oh wow,
look at that.
Now there's a nuclear attack or something.
That's nice.
See, show him with a nuclear attack. There, boom.
Nuclear!
No, you gotta click on the, there you go.
There. Nothing? Everything.
This should go on the YouTube video.
Nothing?
It should go on that.
Everything.
I don't know if you have credits, but if there's credits, you should put this after the credits.
You have obviously been fed, friend. You're a bad pony, but it's not your fault. You have a lot of split ends. Look. Oh, that's beans. Go get the beans. Maybe that's why you came over here. What I like. Okay. It's a flanking move. They're coming for me. Yeah. Do it again. Yeah. You can change it. Yeah.
Sometimes the text message is sent back on iMessages on low.
No, I know that, but I didn't.
Is it funny?
I wasn't.